Did the RCMP obtain all relevant documents to further the investigation, including access to cabinet confidential information, simply seeking a yes or no response?
We were limited with the information that we had access to.
Was that a yes or a no, sir?
I don't know. We didn't know. We don't know. We still don't know to this day all the information that's out there because some was protected.
I'll take that as a no.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back. My name's Natasha, and this is Behavior Breakdowns. Today, we are taking a look at two RCMP officials as they are questioned about the SNC Lavalin scandal involving former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And in fact, while we're at it, why don't we also take a look at our dear old friend? I know you guys miss seeing him. I know you miss hearing him. We might as well take a look and see what Justin Trudeau had to say about the scandal. My colleague is here late for work. Anyways, let's jump into this video. We have Larry Brock, a Conservative MP, questioning two officials from the RCMP. One is a RCMP commissioner and the other is a staff sergeant. Let's take a look at what type of body language and behavior we see. Before we jump into the video, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to the people that have become members. It's a fun little way to support the channel and myself as a content creator. Right now we have 3 different tiers, and all of those tiers have their own unique set of perks as well as some access to exclusive content. If you are a field agent or higher, every single Monday I drop a weekly field assignment, which is a fun little way for you to better your body language and behavioral skills out there in the real world. So check that out. And once again, thank you to the people that have become members. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, and just being a part of this growing community. Let's get into the video.
At the heart of the SNC Lavalin scandal, there were a number of players within the PMO, the PCO, and the Ministry of Finance. However, the principal person of interest in the SNC scandal was at all material times the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. To you, Commissioner, the scandal is now over 5 years old. When did the RCMP interview Justin Trudeau?
I'll let Mr. Pain-Saints further discuss about the interviews, but it is 5 years old, and the matter was brought to our attention in 2019 and officially concluded in January 2023, in which we notified Madame Wilson-Raybould as well as Mr. Scheer, who had written a letter to the Commissioner Leckie at the time.
This is one of those clips where it might not look like there's a lot going on, but as we pull apart this video and we analyze, you're going to see just how much is revealed through body language. So we have two RCMP officials here, Michael Duhaime and Frédéric Pensence. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly, but that's my best attempt at it. We start with Larry Brock, who is a Conservative MP, asking some general questions. We're not going to be focusing too much on Larry Brock here. I mainly want to focus on the two RCMP officials. So we have Michael starting to sift through some of the papers on his desk here. Not always a great thing to do, because when we are able to watch back this footage, we know that he's not really looking for any information here on these papers. It's just giving his hands something to do. It's a way to release some nervous energy while looking busy, kind of shuffle around some papers on your desk. And we also see a very subtle increase in his blink rate when he says that that was when the interviews were concluded. There's a small little blink rate.
Thank you, Commissioner. The question was very specific. How many times in the last 5 years did you interview Justin Trudeau?
He was not interviewed, sir, or Mr. President.
Okay, and why not?
I'll ask Mr. Pain-Saints, who was leading the investigation, to add a little bit.
It also looks like we see a bit of contempt. Now, I just released 2 YouTube shorts this past weekend on contempt and what that looks like. It looks as though when he is cut off by Larry Brock that we see the corner of the mouth raised. That is the sign of contempt. It's almost a half smirk. One side of the mouth raises slightly. And we see contempt come out around feelings of superiority or disgust and anger around a conversation or an idea. So it looks like the corner of the mouth goes up a little bit there for Michael. So there's a bit of an uncomfortable question there, and Michael Duhaime knows this. So he's able to kind of volley it over to his partner and staff sergeant here. Let's see what Mr. Frederic has to say.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So in relation to this, what the RCMP conducted as far as for the objective for the review of the matter, what we've done is we've proceeded with a phased approach, which initially we looked at the potential witnesses that could provide some information as far as to precision for the elements of the offense. So we proceeded in this phase approach. As we proceeded, we determined if there was any further investigative steps that were warranted given the circumstances of the case.
We start with Mr. Frederic here with his hands up pretty high on his chest. His elbows are resting on the table, but we have the hands out in front. This can sometimes act as a bit of a barrier. Anytime somebody is putting something in between themselves and yourself, that can be a barrier. Sometimes it can be as simple as them doing up a jacket, zipping up a zipper, or even moving a water bottle or cup in front of them. And you should always pay attention to that. It doesn't necessarily mean that that person wants to shut you out, but it could suggest a bit of vulnerability. It could suggest that that person is under some stress. It could be an indicator that that person feels as though they might need a little bit more protection around themselves. So we see the hands up pretty high. And if you do see someone putting a barrier between yourself and them, you should always make a mental note when that happened, what the conversation was that was taking place. Keep your eyes open for that if barriers are appearing in front of you and them, and also keep your eyes open for when those barriers disappear, when the barriers are moved aside. We also have Mr. Frederic's eyebrows raised here, and we see all of those lines indented there on the forehead. The eyebrows are held up pretty high here as he starts to explain his point. Interestingly enough, he removes his glasses and the hands now go into almost a folded arm position. Sometimes people cross their arms simply because it's a comfortable way of sitting, and other times it can be another way to create a barrier. Now, the glasses coming off is really interesting to me because that is actually a removal of a barrier, but perhaps he wants to take the glasses off because he doesn't want to see as clearly. The glasses come off and then he uses the glasses to kind of pontificate and to use them to illustrate his points. He uses the glasses as a bit of a pointer.
My time is very limited. Why did you not interview the primary person of interest? At the heart of this investigation was Justin Trudeau's political interference for his own personal gain and the gain of SNC Lavalin. I can inform both of you gentlemen that in my over 30 years of experience as a defense counsel and as a Crown attorney, I have never heard of any investigation where there wasn't any attempt, whether they agreed to interview or not, any attempt to interview the person of interest. Was there at least an attempt to interview Justin Trudeau? Yes or no?
Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk too much about Larry Brock here and his body language, but I do want to call out one quick gesture here, and that's because I have some personal ties to it. We see him start to cut off Mr. Frederic, and we see this gesture very briefly, this hand gesture of the fingers coming together. Funny enough, I had a French teacher in elementary school, and this was one gesture she would use to get the classroom to be quiet. She would say, "Silence, s'il vous plaît." play. This is a illustrative gesture of the mouth closing and the sound coming down, almost as if someone is grabbing the sound in the room and bringing it down to a close. So we see Larry Brock do that quick gesture, grabbing the sound in the room, grabbing the power back, closing it down, and saying, my time here is limited. I need you to silence, s'il vous plaît, and let's get on to answering the questions more directly.
Was there at least an attempt to interview Justin Trudeau? Yes or no?
No.
We do have a straight answer there from Mr. Frederic, and whenever I want to better understand body language, sometimes I'll sit for a moment and try and mimic the exact body language and gestures that I see somebody doing, and just sit with those gestures and see what type of emotion it evokes. You can also try this experiment. I want you to sit and mimic this body language from Mr. Frederic as best as you can and see what type of emotion it evokes. Now, look at the wrinkles on the forehead here. The eyebrows are quite raised, and Mr. Frederic has retracted back in his seat. He's actually pulled away from the table. He's sitting back in his seat, putting distance between himself and Larry Brock, the questioner. When we see somebody creating distance, we usually take that as a sign that they are trying to pull away and put space in between themselves and you or the person they are being questioned by. If you sit with that body language for a little bit, write in the comments below what type of emotion it brings.
Did the RCMP obtain all relevant documents to further the investigation, including access to cabinet confidential information, simply seeking a yes or no response?
We were limited with the information that we had access to.
Was that a yes or a no, sir?
I don't know. We don't know. We still don't know this day all the information that's out there because some was protected.
I'll take that as a no.
So we're back to Michael Duhame here, and we do see some more nervous adapting. He's kind of playing with the pen in his hands, finding things to do to help release some nervous energy. I've talked about this type of stuff before pretty much in every video because we see it so frequently. These are usually pacifying behaviors, some type of repetitive motion, often involving self-touch because it helps calm the nervous system. So we see some pacifying behaviors, we see some nervous adapting. He's playing with that pen, and I just want to give you the exact transcript as Michael answers this question. So we have Larry Brock say, was that a yes or no answer? And this is the exact transcript that Michael says. I don't know. We didn't know. We don't know. We still don't know to this day all the information that's out there. Not only do we have a tense shift there from past to present, but we also have a shift in pronouns. So he says we, and then he says I, and then it's back to we. And the reason that's important is because there is some accountability involved. Is it we or is it I? Is he taking responsibility for the group as a whole? And then we also have a shift in the present versus past tense. So he starts by saying, I don't know. And then he goes, we didn't know. So that is present tense, I don't know, to past tense, we didn't know. And then again, present tense, we don't know, we still don't know. So back to the present. We always pay attention to shifts in past versus present tense. In the case of missing children, for instance, switching from past and present tense is a good indicator that the parents generally have an idea as to the actual whereabouts of the children or if the children are still alive or not. So it's just interesting there to call out that shift from present tense back to past tense, back to present tense. There's some time lapse going on there.
Why didn't the RCMP exercise its absolute statutory right under the Criminal Code of Canada to obtain a production order and or search warrant from a justice to obtain those cabinet documents?
We weren't able to acquire or obtain enough information or evidence that would warrant us to attain a production order.
We have Michael Duhame here back answering this question, and he does kind of struggle to find the words a little bit at first, and we see the eyes go upward. I have talked about eye direction a little bit on the channel before. Now, a lot of eye direction and eye cues have been debunked over time. It's much more common that people have certain directions they will put their eyes when they are accessing certain information, and that information is not always the same for everybody. Some people might retrieve analytical information by looking up. They might store dates and times up here, and they might store emotional memories down here. So you can start to put together little bits and pieces. Everybody is unique, and eye direction can mean different things for different people. But we do see his eyes go up there to retrieve some information. And as he finishes his point, he's nodding in agreement, in congruency with what he says. He feels kind of affirmed by that statement.
To quell public concern, Justin Trudeau, despite his office, is subject to the full impact and consequences of the Criminal Code of Canada. He is not above the law, correct?
I do believe I said that last time I was in front of the committee. No one's above the law.
So we also have some more nodding in agreement, and the lips come together. I do believe I said that last time. Nobody is above the law. Now, the sad reality is that we do know some people are above the law, particularly people with extraordinary economic or financial influence. Those people do tend to be a bit above the law. We've seen it so many times before with politicians. I'm not just talking about Justin Trudeau. I'm talking about all of our politicians that we've had who have come out both in Canada and around the world, politicians and other influential people who are corrupt, who are acting in ways which are above the law. So it's a nice principle to have, it's a nice value to have, and it should be the way things are. However, I'm not necessarily sure that that is true. So that's where I'll stop the analysis for the RCMP officials. There is some more questioning by a Liberal MP, Anthony Housefather, and if you want to watch the full video, then I will link it below. Let's finish off with a segment of Justin Trudeau talking about the SNC Lavalin scandal, and let's see what type of body language Justin Trudeau reveals.
Minister Rosenberg says that she told you on September 17th that she had made her decision, and after that you told your staff to continue to work on the file. Why would you ask them to continue to work on it if she told you she'd already made up her mind?
Part of the terms of the DPA indicates that decision can be taken by the Attorney General up until the very last minute of a trial. So we considered that she was still open to hearing different arguments and different approaches on what her decision could be. As we now learn through this testimony, that was not the case.
One of the things that I forgot that Mr. Trudeau is an expert in is that redirecting of a question. Now, President Donald Trump is also very good at this. Sometimes something as simple as answering a yes or no question can turn into a long-winded story. Journalist poses a question and the politician responds by taking us down a long-winded pathway where they drop all of these other bits of information, hoping that we will latch on to one of those pieces. The mind becomes preoccupied with those other bits of information and is redirected away from the original question. So as I mentioned before, I made 2 shorts this past weekend on the expression contempt, and we do see that come across Trudeau's face here quite prominently. Actually, we see the corner of the mouth raise. Now, when we see contempt, generally that is around disgust or anger, or often a feeling of superiority around a certain person or idea. So keep your eyes open for that half smirk gesture.
But like I said, there was an erosion of trust, a lack of communications to me and to my office about her her state of mind on this, and that is certainly something that I'm having to reflect on as a leader, and that I'm looking forward to improving on as we go forward. I've always tried to foster an environment in which people can come and share with me their concerns, large or small, whether they be cabinet ministers or caucus members, but there's always room for improvement, obviously.
We hear a bit of loss of fluency there, and Trudeau's eyes look down as he searches for the words. He lands on the erosion of trust, using some language to create a visual image of the trust slowly eroding away. So he says, I've always wanted to foster an environment of trust and open communication. And he says, I do that with cabinet members and caucus members. And we do see some more contempt. The corner of the mouth raises slightly again there.
You said you're seeking outside legal opinions on a number of matters, including how your staff and civil servants relate to justice. Can you explain that a little bit more? What are you hoping to learn, and when will this happen?
We've reached out to a number of thoughtful Canadian leaders, and we will have more to announce as we move forward. But there's no question that there are lessons to be learned from this situation, and Canadians expect us to, as we go through difficult situations, that we draw lessons from them and make sure that we do even better next time.
Behaviour.
So when Trudeau says we have gone through a difficult situation, we see that exhale of breath there. We see the lower lip protruding out. And I did talk a little bit about that exhale of breath on the live stream where we were analyzing Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Before Prince Harry got on stage and started making his speech, he had this big sigh, this big that is a way that we can help calm our nervous system when we are feeling tension and when we are feeling stress. The breath tends to become more restricted. So sometimes having that big exhale is a nice way to help us calm down. We see that little smile there at the end saying that there's always lessons to be learned and that we'll do better next time. We see the eyes narrow a little bit there. It's almost a sneer more than it is a authentic smile, because there's obviously no genuine happiness going on here. We don't see these corners of the mouth raising. We don't see the eyes really crinkling and the upper muscles of the face moving. When somebody is feeling genuine happiness and smiling authentically, those are usually some of the indicators we can expect to see. But instead here we have the eyes narrowing. It's like a nice nasty way of saying thank you for asking that question, but not really. I'm really thinking something else about you in this moment. He does that kind of. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you feel like the RCMP officials were being authentic and genuine in their response to Larry Brock's questioning? And do you think that Trudeau will be investigated? Will this SNC Lavalin case resurface and reopen upon new evidence? Or will it be something that is simply swept under the rug? Let me know in the comments below. This video was actually decided upon in the live stream, and you guys voted, and this was the breakdown for the week. So I do take your thoughts and comments into consideration. So if there is somebody that you want me to look into, definitely write it in the comments below and I will consider it for the next video. And don't forget to check out the members community if you're interested in that. Again, it's a great way to help support the channel. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and liking, subscribing, commenting, and just being a part of this growing community. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.